Hello, Sydneys. The time has finally come. We are in the era where a brand new Scream movie is being marketed to us because today we got the release of the new Scream 6 trailer. That's right, baby. They went back to the numbers. That was like always the number one complaint within my comment section of Scream 5. How could they not call it Scream? Well, there you go. You got your 6. And it's a Roman numeral. But what I'm going to do here for you guys is giving you my breakdown of the Scream 6 teaser trailer. There's actually a lot of great Easter eggs hidden in here of horror movie characters. Because this movie is set on Halloween Day, we just have so many pedestrians dressed up as their favorite horror icons. As well as details on what you can expect from this new Scream movie, the brand new mask that they have given Ghostface here. That along with so much more. So please, I'm going to need you Scream fans to give me your opinions down below. How are you feeling on Scream 6? Alright, so first things first, let's just recap a little bit of information that you need to know about this movie. So yes, this is a direct sequel to the last Scream movie that we got that, for all intents and purposes, is just Scream 5, okay? Radio silence, Paramount, I need you to go back and just add a 5 to everything with that last Scream movie. So this is a direct sequel to the last Scream movie. We're again following the Carpenter sisters, Sam and Tara, played by Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, who are trying to get over their first encounter with Ghostface, along with Chad and Mindy, played by Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown. They're heading off to college in New York City, where, surprise, surprise, Ghostface shows up back into their lives, where they have to fight him in the Big Apple. First thing we gotta talk about here is how the trailer basically finally confirms to us the title that we have all been wondering, what's it gonna be? During production of the movie, we saw photos that they were going with the title Scream with 2 exclamation marks that I thought actually would have been a clever way to go with it. But instead they went with something that made longtime fans of the franchise a little more happier and just being very direct and calling this one Scream 6 because that's what it is. Although make it make sense to me, man, because we went from Scream 1, okay, Scream 2, alright, Scream 3, alright, I like that, that's pretty good. Then we went Screform, then Scream, now Scream Roman numeral 6. Make it make sense to me. I can't even imagine what they're gonna do for 7. I'm gonna laugh my butt off if they just go back to the regular number. But the trailer opens up with us in New York City, and I couldn't help but to notice that right here in Times Square, it really makes out that sort of V shape. I wonder if later posters will play into that, because the current poster we got now just kind of plays into what we'll see in this teaser trailer, and that's just Ghostface on a subway train in New York City with the tagline, New York, New Rules, which is actually a great little nod to Scream 4 that had a similar tagline, which was New Decade, New Rules. And with this movie marking the return of a fan favorite character from that movie that we don't get to see in this teaser trailer, Hayden Panettiere, aka Kirby, I think it's kind of a great little homage. From there, we start seeing pedestrians on the street of New York City, but you'll quickly notice that they are all in costume, marking something new and different for the franchise, having this one set around the Halloween season. All the previous Scream movies, we've never really had it fall on a holiday, whether that be Christmas, Valentine, or Easter. And from the looks of this trailer, I'm loving how they're playing up the advantage of not only New York City, but this holiday in particular, with just costumes everywhere. We get another quick shot of a crowded subway station, people waiting to enter a subway car, and here's where we just start going through the Easter eggs, because there's so many cool ones. Of course, you might have noticed someone dressed as David Bowie here up front. Another one that a lot of people are noticing is the catch to Samara Weaving's character from Ready or Not, the bride with just bullets hanging across her chest. This is a great Easter egg for a couple of reasons. One, Samara Weaving is confirmed to make an appearance in this movie, whether she'll be the opening kill or a character that'll last throughout the whole movie. But also because the team behind Ready or Not, Radio Silence, are the same people behind these last 2 Scream movies. So I thought it was actually really cool to include someone in that costume for the movie. Now, one that you might not have caught is over here off to the side, you have someone dressed as Chucky and the bride of Chucky. It's not a perfectly exact costume, maybe for legal reasons, but you do have the bright orange red hair, the overalls, the color undershirt, and then the person standing next to them is an eyeliner, blonde hair. That's basically a Tiffany right there. Also, if we look at the person in front of Grace from Ready or Not, this looks to be a nod to one of the Stab movies, particularly the opening of Scream 4. I think this could be Lucy Hale's character, who was a character within a Stab movie for the opening of Scream 4. Got the same yellow shirt and the blood dripping from her neck. So that's actually really awesome that that we have stab characters in here. From there, we finally move on to some familiar faces that will be seen in this movie, and that's the Carpenter sisters, Sam and Tara. We also have Chad, who's a surviving member of the last movie that actually got stabbed. And new addition to the cast, Josh Segura here. Now, we don't know too much about his character. It's rumored that he might be the neighbor to Sam or Tara's character, depending on where they live in New York. Who knows if Tara's actually living in dorms on college campus, while her sister Sam is in an apartment complex. But I think given his age and good looks, he might be a possible love interest for Sam, but we always gotta remember one of the main rules of Scream.
Rule number one, never trust the love interest.
You can't trust love interests / boyfriends. So to me, he's definitely a suspect, and we're gonna keep our eye on him. And off to the side here, who we don't get to see is Mindy. We see her in a separate shot, just leaning against the window, back to the wall. As our horror queen, she knows what she needs to do to survive in a tense situation. So I love that for her, but let's also pick out some more awesome Halloween costumes of famous horror icons we can catch in the background. For one, the person standing behind some of the main group of characters here is the Babadook. That's actually one of Tara's favorite horror movies. She mentioned it in the last Scream movie as elevated horror.
What's your favorite scary movie?
The Babadook.
When we look into the crowd of people, ignoring this Ghostface, who most likely is not the killer as they have green nail paint, that would be a dead giveaway to who the killer is. We see the return of the Ready or Not girl. We also have Jason off here to the side sitting down. This is a great nod because famously, Jason was one of the many horror icons to visit New York City in Jason Takes Manhattan. Off here to the side, you can also see characters from Jordan Peele's Us in their red attire with golden scissors in hands, and even a man with the sack, just like the character of Pluto in that movie. Now, in the last Scream movie, Mindy mentioned how much Jordan Peele rules.
I mean, Jordan Peele fucking rules.
Obviously.
So it's kind of nice to see him get represented in this movie. We can't forget about Pinhead here from Hellraiser. Love that they're including some of the heavy hitter horror icons. In one of these quick flash sequences where we get a look at all the people wearing Ghostface costumes, we also get a brief second look at Florence Pugh's character from Midsommar. You can see all the flowers and whatnot on her. That's some more inclusion of this elevated horror. And even at one point when Sam is staring down a possible real Ghostface, we see someone in a Freddy Krueger fedora walking right behind her. This wouldn't be the first time a Freddy Krueger-like person shows up in the Scream franchise, as there was a cameo in the first Scream movie, since Wes Craven, the director of the first 4 Scream movies, also created and directed Nightmare on Elm Street. For a brief second, we see a woman in the same clothing as the twins from The Shining. Another cool random one I also wanted to point out in the background, you can see this character in a white shirt, tie, and a speckle of red on him. This is definitely Simon Pegg's character from Shaun of the Dead, who also gets some red ink on his work shirt as just plain homage to horror comedies. And well, fun kind of sad fact, Michael Myers was actually supposed to make an appearance in costume for Scream 6. We have a behind the scene photo of the extra who was in the Michael Myers costume that was supposed to show up in the background, but apparently Universal and the people who own Michael Myers did not approve for Michael to actually show up in Scream 6, which is just kind of a bummer. It's just a costume in the background, man. Michael Myers has shown up before in the background of Scream movies, so it was kind of like a tradition. So it's kind of sad he didn't get to be in here with all these horror icons. But with those Easter eggs out of the way, I gotta admit, man, I am loving the vibe, this setting, the way they're taking advantage of New York City, this subway station, and the holiday of Halloween with just ghost faces everywhere. It might seem insensitive and kind of effed up that people are dressing up as Ghostface, a real life killer, but you also gotta think, in this universe, there are 8 stab movies. Those are popular horror movies in their world. It's gone past the real life trauma and have just become fan favorite horror movies. And I'm hoping Mindy is not gonna get taken down on this subway. She is one of my favorite new characters. I need her to survive for more movies. But also, one thing I want you to notice from this Ghostface attack is I think they've basically confirmed there are at least 2 killers in this movie. This Ghostface, if he turns out to be real and not some New Yorker just trying to be funny, is wearing a very clean cut traditional Ghostface mask, when today Entertainment Weekly dropped a photo of another Ghostface mask that one of the killers will be wearing. This right here is the worn down Ghostface mask that I'm assuming the main killer will be wearing in the movie, that I gotta admit I'm loving the look of. This is again paying homage to some of that Michael Myerisms, since in Halloween 2018 he's got that worn down mask. All the more reason I'm sad they didn't approve his cameo. But with the release of this new mask, the directors did comment on it, saying it will make sense in the context that you see in the movie. That was another one of the really interesting risk and creative approaches in this movie. It's meta in a different way, and the mask very much factors into that. It's not an arbitrary choice. Basically saying they didn't just do it randomly, like, hey, let's just be a little different, give Ghostface kind of a worn down mask. This was done very purposeful. It's gonna have a point in the movie. There's rumors and leaked photos that went around, maybe you've seen me do a video on them, where at one point in this movie, there's gonna be almost like a museum of previous Ghostface costumes that the real killers wore in the previous movies, and whoever are the killers in this film are gonna steal the masks from those costumes, so we could very much be looking at the original Ghostface mask that Billy and Stu wore from Scream 1, which to me lets me know that this killer has a connection to Billy and Stu. If anything, I think it's going to be a connection to Stu, whether someone in the cast turns out being the long-lost child of Stu Macher, a distant relative, or something of that sort. But overall, guys, I'm loving this. This Scream movie is said to be the most bloodiest, the darkest. They're gonna go in a slightly different direction, try fresh new things. From this one trailer, it's exactly the vibes I want. It is creepy, it is horror-filled, it feels new to the Scream franchise 6 movies in. Oh, count me extremely excited to see this go down. Leave me your thoughts down below on the Scream teaser trailer, what Easter eggs you caught that I might have missed, as well as any theories and predictions to what will be going down in this movie. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris, take care.